All right, pick a vlog time, folks. All right, this is the part of the show where we have our hearts to hearts, and I rant about different things, and I tell you my personal feelings about stuff, as well as different kinds of insights and updates to what is going on with the channel. Okay, so first, most exciting thing that let's get out of the way right away. Okay, I have purchased some new equipment and conducted a whole bunch of tests on a bunch of brand new batteries. We're talking about like eFest 18650s to 26650s, the big CGR Panasonic 26650s, some Vap Power stuff, the Vamp stuff, some VTC things. And we're going to do a lot of a battery myth busting, put it that way, okay? Because the thing is that 18650s commonly found in laptop batteries, whether it's a 3-cell or a 6-cell, different kind of multi-cell laptop batteries, okay? So it just happens to be the battery that we're using for vaping commonly, okay? Whether you're using it in mech mods or like, different kinds of regulated devices. The thing about it is that, like, is it for vaping? It's just what happens to be what we use, right? And then at the same time, just like the Manhattan mod or whatever, now it's, competition vaping. We have vamped batteries, so, batteries meant for vaping, right? Whatever, okay? I'm sorry. The point is that we're going to get to the bottom of whether or not these things are what they claim that they should be, as well as we're going to do something very interesting, which is we're going to purposely set parameters for these batteries in according to the way we vape. See, I don't know if you've noticed this, all right, but if you go ahead and look up different kind of charts on batteries and stuff and where the cutoff is and et cetera, right, it's not what you think it is. If you pay very close attention to it, it's that's not how we vape. For instance, right, a battery will claim to have many milliamps, 3,000 milliamps, 2,000 milliamps, whatever, okay, like something very high. And what happens is that the milliamps that it claims, okay, is that when it starts from the fully charged, 4.1, 4.2, somewhere around there, all the way down to 2.5. However, that's not the way we vape, is it? For the most part, many of our regulated devices cut off the battery at around 3.2. So let me ask you this, right? When you have a battery that says it's like 2,000 milliamps or something like that, right? And we go ahead and put it in a regulated device and we vape it from the 4.2 marker all the way down to 3.2, what did we actually get in terms of milliamp hours? Do you think we actually got the 2,000? Because the rest of the trail of it is supposed to run from the 3.2 all the way dead to the 2.5. But you see what I'm saying? We don't use that portion of the power in the battery before we go ahead and recharge it for next use. Right. So that's what the battery segment is going to be about. It's going to be set parameters towards vaping and how good are these batteries. You see what I'm saying? Because if new companies these days, like Vamped Company, right, that they're going to go ahead and market their batteries for vapors, hey, it's for vaping or whatever, then don't tell me that it's 2,000 milliamps when I'm supposed to run my test all the way down to 2.5, yet nobody vapes at 2.5, okay? If you guys go ahead and pull up your Ohms Law calculators on your, I don't know, secondary monitor or something like that, just go ahead and pull up Ohms Law calculator, okay? If you built a 0.5 ohm coil, okay, you are sub-ohming, right? Sub-ohming, reasonable sub-ohming, right? Do you know how many watts you're sub-ohming at when it's down to, like, I don't know, like 2.7 or something like that? If you fire 2.7 into a 0.5 watt, I think it's about like 14 watts or something like that. So it's 2.7, it's 14 watts, and it's going to ramp up very slowly. I don't think anybody's vaping like that. And that is what's very important, okay? So we are going to start a new battery segment show that is going to be all about that. I think either every week or every 2 weeks, we're going to do a new popular battery. And we're going to have like, we're going to buy 2 of them so that like, we're going to run, battery number 1, battery number 2, and then see how close it graphs together. You know what I mean? So that like we could also measure the consistency of every single battery that we purchase. So that like, it'll start to demystify, debunk a lot of the different things of like, consistency in other batteries, whether, you're buying like a VTC, are you getting like a knockoff of a knockoff, or some of the EFES stuff, right? People have been saying that like, well, when I unwrapped it, it was an LG HE. That's what I think it was. And then some other people said, well, when I unwrapped mine, it was a VTC. Right. So we're going to do like all sorts of tests week after week so that like one by one, we're going to knock down all of these batteries and get to the bottom of the truth, get to the truth of each one. Okay. So let's get something silly out of the way. Okay, the Honorable Juice mentioned Allison Vapeland Frost Blossom. Frost Blossom is a mildly menthol juice. Okay, on ECF forums, it was rated at, it got an award for #3 best menthol juice. So if you guys are into like, slightly little mentholy juices, then try out Frost Blossom and, tell me what you think. All right, so let's talk about the website. I've been promising you guys a website for a while. It will launch in 3 weeks. All right, what I need you guys to know about the website is that the purpose of the website is the same purpose as this channel. Okay, it was started, as encouragement from the people, right? I made one video once upon a time about gurgling, and that's all I wanted to do, all right? And then after that, people said, hey, can you make more? Can you show us more? Can you whatever? And then I considered it, and I wanted to help out the community because more or less we all have that, smoker addict bond with each other, right? So I dove in. I decided to go ahead and make a whole bunch of, tutorials and explanation videos and things like that. And then it just kept on going on and on from there. Many of my videos are like different kinds of subscriber requests. I don't always put the words subscriber request in the title. However, many times, people write me private messages and stuff. And if your question is big enough, then that it deserves a video, then I will go ahead and put out a video about it. And then the rest of us can share and discuss as well. So that's what this has always been about. It's always been about for the people. So when I launch a website, it's not a store that also happens to have some info. It's going to be an academy, a real academy website. It's going to be a school. It's going to be a school with a lot of free information on it that happens to have a campus store. So, Peg, what's the difference? Well, the difference is this, okay? A store will carry anything and everything. They will carry things that are trending. They'll carry things just because it's cheap. They'll carry things just because, the factories or whatever supplier, just wants them to try it out. They don't care about you. That's the difference, okay? When you buy something at the Pegasus store, right, number one rule about everything that I carry, okay, is that there will be no redundancies, okay? Meaning that we will not carry a quasar and the still air and a Castle RDA and you know what I mean? Because they're all more or less the same, and we know that. We know deep in our hearts that's the truth. At least I do, and that's what I don't want to mess you guys up with, okay? What happens is that, like, let's say if we were taking drippers, for example, okay? We're gonna have like an IGO L or an IGO W, like some kind of a beginner dripper device, right? Then we're going to have like a Magma, and then we're going to have like, either the still air or the TOBH, one or the other, okay? It's not gonna be both. The thing is that, like, I don't want to give students the feeling that like, oh, I need all of these, you know what I mean? When many of them like are very similar to one another, okay? If anything, I want you to feel as if like, had you went ahead and bought every single item on the website, okay, every single one of these items has their own unique thing that it does, so it's different from each other. You didn't buy a repeat item. You see what I'm saying? So what are the items that we're really going to do? the items have to be things that have gotten rave reviews from everybody. You know what I mean? From people who hype it up way too much, for people who are very scientific or whatever. We all unanimously agree, this is a good item. That was a really good item. That had a lot of features into it. The price is right, the quality and the machining and everything, and that's what we're going to carry. Okay, so for mech mods and stuff like that, obviously we're going to carry the Covenant, Nemesis, and a couple of different kind of versions, right? And then we're gonna have like a couple of telescopic mods for people who need it. And then as far as like drippers are concerned, like what I said before, right? The Magma has huge, like crazy, like good reviews, and it's basically a staple item now. As far as like the Genesis goes, right? The Genesis, we're going to be carrying the Kraken on the website because, you know, the Kraken's amazing, right? It's basically a 9 out of 10 star item, and everything else kind of falls short in comparison to the Kraken. Like if you put like a steam turbine next to a Kraken, if you put an Aga T2 next to a Kraken, it kind of falls short. You don't need it, you know, because it has adjustable airflow while the other ones don't. It's missing too many features compared to the Kraken, and that's why that's all we're going to carry in terms of that. As far as like rebuildable tank systems, right? There's always been certain things, right? Like for instance, obviously we're going to be carrying a K-Fun, but I'm not going to carry both the K-Fun Lite Plus and the 3.1. It's going to be one or the other because you don't need both. Okay. However, we are considering maybe bringing in the Typhon GT because the Typhon GT has rave reviews and it has a bigger tank capacity. So you know, it has to be different. We can't have redundant items on the campus web store. Okay, that's what the biggest thing is. Okay, so regarding like you know, regulated devices or whatever, I think we're going to be carrying the Cloudport, the new T5 50 watt that comes out, and maybe a ZNA. I'm not sure about the ZNA. That's really something more of like I might conduct like a group buy or something like that. It'll depends if you guys really want that one, because you know that thing uses a 490 500 battery. So you know I'm not 100% behind small stuff like that. So I want everybody to have like, you know, full size, you know, maximum amps, maximum milliamp hours, maximum, you know, so that you, whatever you decide to go with on the Academy store is going to be a good purchase, you know, because everything is reviewed very well. We're not going to carry questionable items or things that are redundant to other stuff. Okay. All right. So that's enough about the web store. All right. So now the next thing, okay, very interesting stuff. I had a vlog once, okay, controversial stuff, and it was about juice tasting, and it was about my opinion about like how the whole, you know, hide the words, you know, juice is taste is subjective, you know what I mean, et cetera, et cetera. Well, you know, I gave you guys my 2 cents on that. Okay, now after I did that vlog, all right, I got a letter from a subscriber who's, you know, obviously one of our family members, and he said that he watched it and it made a lot of sense to him. Okay, now the excellent part about this is that like my argument originally, right, was that like why can't we have somebody with an actual culinary background talk to us about flavors and juice tasting and whatever, you know? Because you know how many times I do a video where like you don't need to have the device. It's just going to be straight knowledge about E-cig gear, whatever, okay? There should be, you know, some videos or whatever straight up about juice tasting first before we start talking about like specific juice, like 4 from this company, 5 from that company, et cetera, okay? And then what happened is that like, you know, we decided to elaborate on it and then, you know, do some work on it and do some more research, and he decided to go ahead and put together some videos. So I have an introduction video from him. So this is a young man that, like, you know, I want to introduce to you guys. His name is Chris Orsini, okay? Try to have an open mind, because if we can agree on the definitions of certain things first. Okay, I feel as if like we could open up a lot of doors to new things and see stuff from a different point of view that might be, you know, a lot more helpful, a lot more beneficial to all of us. And let's watch this segment together real quick, all right? And then we'll talk more about it.
How you guys doing? My name's Chris. Now, if you're like me and you moved on past your clear misers, your clear 16s, your pro tanks, and you've gotten into dripping, you've gotten into rebuildable tanks, if you've gotten to the point where this is a hobby and it's no longer a replacement of cigarettes, then it's time we start thinking of things a little differently. When we started vaping, it was to quit smoking. And why do we quit smoking to begin with? There are two reasons. First reason is health reasons. Cigarettes have, what, 3,000-4,000 chemicals in them that are just killing us. We quit smoking and start vaping for our health. The second reason, that's not quite so obvious, is that we no longer want to be a slave. We don't want to be addicts anymore. We have accomplished goal number one. We have given up smoking and replaced it with vaping. But now, in some way, are still a slave to vaping, where we vape in the same way that we smoke. We've got to get a vape after we eat. We've got to get a vape once we wake up, right before we go to bed. And it's time that we adjust our mindset, adjust the way we view vaping. And I think it's time to look at it in more the way that cigars and pipe tobacco is viewed. Pipe tobacco and cigars are not used as a nick fix. They're used for enjoyment purposes. And I think it's time we start using vaping as something, as a pleasure, rather than a need and a necessity and a fix. The other thing that I think we need to change our perspective on is the way we view juices. The way juices are presented to us now, and the way we are interacting with juices, is the way one would interact with a candy shop. I feel like we need to mature our view of juices and treat it more like a five-star restaurant. Of course, I'm giving extreme examples, but I feel we need to mature in the way that we approach juices. And not only for our benefit, but it looks better to the FDA. The FDA isn't jumping all over pipe tobacco. The FDA doesn't jump all over cigars. The FDA doesn't jump all over all these candy-flavored alcohols. Why? Because adults are consuming them like adults. I feel like we need to change the way that we review juices. I don't know about you, but I don't feel I've watched a single juice review that has been the least bit beneficial. I gave up watching juice reviews when I watched a kid vape and say yummy for a minute. We need to look at it from a culinary standpoint. When you say, what does this pair with? How does this hit my palate? We need to analyze flavors. We need to learn how to taste. Something I will teach you guys is how to taste, not only taste juice, but how to taste your food, how to taste the things you drink. I'm going to give you other adjectives other than good, bad, excellent, delicious. These are subjective. I want to get rid of this disclaimer, taste is subjective. Flavor is not subjective. What is subjective is your opinion on that flavor. If you like that flavor, if you don't like that flavor, that is your opinion. That is what is subjective. For example, I love spinach. My wife hates spinach. You put a blindfold on either of us and have us eat spinach, we're both going to tell you that that's spinach. That's objective. That's truth. That's fact. Whether we like it, that is what is subjective. That is what changes person to person. We need to start communicating information about juices to one another that is objective. I will teach you guys how to describe a juice flavor so that someone will understand and be able to say, based on the facts that you have given me about this flavor, I know that I will or will not like this flavor. I'm going to teach you guys food pairing. Food pairing is common with beer, it's common with wine. If you go to breweries, if you go to nice restaurants, they'll tell you what beers, what wines, what they think pair well with each meal. What I'm going to give you the ability to do is before you go out to dinner and you know, hey, I'm going to an Asian place, I'm going to a steakhouse, I'm going to Tex-Mex. Before you even leave the house, I want you to know what juice to bring along with you, what's going to go well with what you're going to eat. Also, different juices for different times of day. different juices for different occasions. You know, what's going to go with breakfast? What's going to go with lunch? What's going to go with a hot summer afternoon? What's going to be nice in, you know, Christmas morning? This is all stuff we're going to go through. This is all stuff I'm going to help you understand. I'm going to give you the tools to decipher for yourself. I don't want to just tell you A equals B. I'm going to tell you how to get there. Give you the tools to taste, give you the tools to comprehend, give you the tools just to see things a little differently, to begin to understand the complexities of flavor, juices, and so on and so forth. Let's vape safe, let's vape smart, and remember guys, flavor's not subjective, your opinion is.
Guys, thoughts, comments, opinions about this particular segment. Okay, it's a very big deal to me. If you only comment about one thing on this vlog, then please make it about this one. Okay, I feel as if like it's a huge deal for us to try to view vaping, you know, in its juices or whatever from a culinary standpoint, and this guy has an actual culinary background from a real school. You see what I'm saying? So I really think that we should give something like this a chance, and if you're, you know, behind us on this one, right, we will make more videos, we'll do more segments on this stuff, because, you know, all the things that I know about, like, you know, vaping from you know, conductivity to gear to you know, shopping for stuff and dealing with the overseas factories or whatever, I can't know everything. Okay, so, you know, in order for this channel, the Vapor Academy, to cover juices, okay, we absolutely need Chris. So if you guys are willing to give him a chance, you know what I mean, we could make something excellent from this. Okay, let's move on to the screen capture stuff, because there's some cool stuff that I'd like to show you guys. So these are all the videos of everybody who has done the CelluCotton family fun project thing. Okay, so as I promised before, you know, I stitched you guys all together, and then I will put links to it all in the description below to promote all of your channels, as well as the 6 of you guys will all receive a secret package from me that's going to be filled with a whole bunch of Pega toys that will be featured at the web store when it opens. Okay, so to all of you guys, thank you for making the video. You know, the package is for you guys to keep, play around, do a testimonial, review it, whatever you guys like to do. Okay, so for some of you guys who I don't have your information, Walter, Sheila, Mike, yeah, please go ahead over to the About Me page, and then you'll find my email over. Give me an address that you're comfortable with, and then I will send your packages along with you guys. Josh from Rockstar, I know you probably moved recently, and I'll probably need updated info. Abby and Doug, I'm good with. So thanks again to everybody who has done the video, right? So let's move on to a couple of fun photos, okay? So here is a photo of a Kaiser over here, okay? I got some video equipment, some photo equipment and stuff, lighting boxes and whatnot, and just wanted to show you like some high quality photos that we will be taking for, you know, different kind of products in the web store, so that like you guys could always get the best looking photos out there for like the stuff that you're looking to purchase if I happen to carry it. This photo over here is to give you guys an idea of how behind I am in terms of different kind of things that I should have been reviewing already. These are also the toys that I received from China and various other sources. I'd rather not go through a boring list of naming each and every single one of them, so I'll just do a quick photo over here, and if you recognize some, you recognize some. So not to say that this is any of my collection or whatever, so I'll give you guys a photo of my collection, which is here. And as you can see, the photos, it shows you, you know, like I like to keep all my stuff neat in like different kind of racks and whatnot. I will try my best to squeeze out a 3-part series of stuff that I own, why did I get them, stuff that I regret, you know, to just give you a better sense of shopping. Maybe we'll squeeze them into a shopping episode or something. I don't know yet, but, you know, we'll see. All right, guys, quick rant, and then we'll announce the winner, and then we'll wrap this up. Okay. So, um, as always, I also watch different videos of other people doing reviews and whatnot, and sometimes I feel as if like people throw in compliments that don't really exist. I don't know. I'm just not really feeling it or following like what they're saying about like a certain item. Okay, like back in the days, I was always against the whole idea of like, oh, it hits hard people, like, the arbitrary hits hard people. You're not actually saying if something hits hard in comparison to something. You're just saying that it hits hard for the sake of saying it hits hard. Um, an example would be like when I did the DNA video, okay, and then I said, well, on this device, okay, it's going to hit hard, like for 16 watts or something like that. 16 watts on this device does not feel like 16 watts on another device because the calibration of this device is off by a few points, and therefore when you fire it, it feels more like 18 or 19 watts on a mech mod in comparison to 16 watts on this DNA device. You see what I'm saying? And I feel as if, I don't know, I don't mean to be like such a like definition police about it, but I feel as if like that's the way it should work. So recently when I hear somebody say something like about like either a dripper or a tank or anything like that, and then they start talking about like, well, how's the flavor on it? Okay, same thing, right? Couldn't the flavor be tweaked? For those of you out there who are like, flavor chasers, flavor junkies and stuff, you guys already know that many times if you wanted to go ahead and tweak something for more flavor, you could go ahead and put on a small bore drip tip. You could back off the airflow control a little bit. There's many different things that you could go ahead and tweak to make something more flavorful. You could also, as simple as just switching your juices, because obviously a cinnamon roll is going to be way more flavorful than like a lemonade flavor. So in order to say that like, this dead item itself, right, more or less flavor, I mean, certain things about like an atomizer, like let's say it's reduced chamber or whatever, supposedly is going to be more flavorful than, but then again, it's not like I don't own a whole bunch of things that I just showed you before that where like I have reduced chambers, and I don't think that it's doing its thing. You know what I mean? So it may or may not be it. But when I did do the reviews about like small bore drip tips and how they are very flavorful, that one got like a unanimous agreement with the rest of you guys when I said, hey, do you concur with like, like what makes a K-Fun very flavorful? Like half the reason is in the drip tip. You know what I mean? Right. So when people review certain things like that, and then they say the things that this, I don't know. I'm not buying it, and you let me know what you think about that. Okay. Last one, right? I've been also contemplating about releasing a segment called a segment or like a mini series, okay, called The Road to Zero. Okay, and that is for some of you guys out there who want to go from Nick to zero Nick to, basically just more freedom from the chemicals and stuff. So let me know how many of you guys are interested in that one, right? And I'll probably start working on a script on that thing, because I'll tell you, many of you guys out there, right? I myself, from the Princess Coil video and stuff like that, you could tell that I have already worked my way to zero Nick. Starting from an 18 and 12 user. So, okay, let's get to the winner chicken dinners, right? So winner of this month, okay, because we always do somebody old, somebody new, somebody old, somebody new. So new subscriber is going to be Captain Donna. Captain Donna, congratulations. I'm going to give you the choice of either a TOBA stripper or a Kraken Genesis, okay? Either one that you choose, I will pre-build it for you optimally according to what I think the specs should be, and it'll just be ready. It'll be sterile. It'll be, just ready for you to add juice and try it out yourself. Okay, if you hate the build, then rip it out. It's okay. You're not gonna hurt my feelings. And if anything, you could probably like check it out yourself and maybe even learn something from the build and wicking method. Okay, so that is it for this month's vlog. Hope you guys enjoyed this episode, and I will see you next time.